Hello and welcome to Wisdom and Productivity, the podcast of Dr. Efraim Martinez. Today is a beautiful, gorgeous Saturday, and I decided to do the podcast today walking. So, the title of today's podcast is On the Productivity of Wisdom. So, I'm going to reflect on a couple of things that I believe can help any educator that is trying to make a difference in the world. Any educator that wants to change hearts and minds before standards and curriculum. For any educator that wants to have enough bandwidth at the end of the day to share with your loved ones to have the life that you want to have. So let's begin. I have here my cheat sheet because I have found that if I want to make something of substance, I need to know where I'm going because without a map, we all get lost. So I want to begin with a quote by Sam Harris, and it goes like this. I hope that I don't fall as I walk. Just fully commit for the next 10 minutes. There's nothing to think about, nothing to plan. You have the rest of the day for that. Just fully surrender to the practice. So, of course, I got this from his Waking Up meditation app. Um, this meditation app, which is not sponsoring this channel, podcast, program, Labor of Love. In this meditation app, it integrates a lot of like philosophy, psychology, and the new advances in neuroscience. So I remember that specific meditation because sometimes it's hard. It's hard to say I'm gonna give a minute to myself. I have been doing 10-minute meditation for about 2 months and a half, and I took a break. I took a break for a couple of days um, because for a moment I thought that there were other things I wanted to do. And when I compare and contrast, uh, when I have a more peaceful day, a more productive day, are the days that I meditate. And when you meditate, you have to surrender yourself to not think about all that you have to do, to not think about the things that you need to improve, and all the chores you need to have, and all you need to tell your family, and all the happy things you want to do in your life. So it's very important um, that we are able to have the discipline to at least take 1 minute, yeah, even if it is just one mindful breath. And every day is going to help us improve 1% better. So I have here that I want to tell you more about um, um, a quote that I learned in the Doctor Strange movie. The new one is coming in May, and my son is like a super fanatic, and I have never seen it. And wow, what a movie! And he has this quote, and it's so amazing that it goes like, I'm gonna paraphrase it: "You are a person looking at the world through a keyhole." And the ancient one talks about, tells us the strange as is in the process of learning how to believe that one is all life, seeing the possibilities of what we can do through a very narrow space. In this case, the analogy of the keyhole. And eventually we want to make it bigger, to learn more, to reach farther. And then we realize that out of that keyhole, you can just expand and realize that you are the world and you are the light, like Martin Luther King said. And I just love that as to start saying that we all have iPhones or Androids or phones or devices that we might want to be able to improve so we can have a little bit more of quality of life. Before I continue, I would like to share the awesome Teach Better Podcast Network community.
This podcast is a proud member of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Better today, better tomorrow, and the podcast to get you there. Explore more podcasts at www.teachbetterpodcastnetwork.com. Now let's get back to the episode.
Okay, so in my place of employment, I have a iPhone that they give me to use, and I have my own iPhone. This can apply to Android too, or Motorola, whatever it is that you are using. Uh, and I had all the alerts on, so I was getting double the distraction from every time someone needed me for something. So what I decided was that for the professional iPhone during the day, I was going to have the Gmail, Google Calendar, the Voxer, that is like a communication way for the district leaders to communicate, um, and other pertinent apps to have the alert, but only without sound, because sound is the enemy of focus. So imagine if you are doing an observation or you are having a conversation with someone that you are trying to influence towards the better good, and you get interrupted by alerts. It really destroys that mojo and destroys that the momentum that you might have tried to reach, and you alert because it's going to be something constant. Now, it's important that you do have alerts, have them silent, because then when you finish that conversation and you have a minute to look at your phone, you can see immediately the emails and the texts and the Voxer messages and everything that they have sent you. So you can do your job properly, right? Because people need you, right? But you can only turn off one fire at a time. So in that second, when you have that moment to reach at your phone, you can see who needs you, what needs immediacy, and what can wait. So that is a high recommendation. But what happening? What was happening was that I was hanging out with the phone from work and my personal phone. And in my mind, I was thinking, I'm going to have exactly the two phones the exact same way because I need to know. I need to know what's going to happen. I need to know everything. And I was having double the distraction. And yet, when I will go home, I didn't have my work phone with me because the physician doesn't work when you're not on call. But I was having exactly the same alerts in order to have what I thought was consistency in the productivity system that I carried. And I was getting the alerts as I was eating dinner with my family, or we were watching a show, or I was just washing the clothes. Like, it's constant. So I decided that instead of having both phones mimic each other, I decided to have different ecosystems so they could improve my quality of life. So in my personal phone, I have no social media. Absolutely. Why? It's not that social media is bad. We should banish it, but it has its moments. And quite frankly, when I was in the couch with my family or just resting, I will get the phone and I will be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling until I realize that, oh my gosh, at least in my case, maybe not yours, but in my case, it was a addiction. So if you have an addiction, for example, to alcohol, and you still have alcohol in your cabinet, more than likely you are going to drink that alcohol. So I decided that in my personal phone, no social media. There will be time for that when I am in a computer. Wow, this has catapulted the quality of my life. My family have told me that I'm being more talkative I am learning more about my children. I am having more time to listen to my wife, to my mother-in-law, and also it has given me a separation. So if I am a swimmer before, because I had my phones mimic each other, I was a swimmer that was swimming 24/7. And any swimmer that is successful needs to take abundant time of restful time. So I decided that my phone, yes, it has some alerts. For example, if I order some food, I want the phone to tell me, hey, the food is here, right? But emails and calendar invites and all that kind of stuff can wait. It can wait when I have the moment to be mindful about what I can say, because that's another thing that we need time to think. We need time to reflect. Our brains are like a muscle. We needed to let it rest, wonder, right? And if you're always with your phone and always connected and always scrolling, you never have a moment to wonder. And what is life if it is not out of the wonderings that we come out with the successful things that make life better? Wow, I like that. Okay, so what I have learned is that when I have my work phone, I put my personal phone close to me, because you know what? I have a spouse, I have children, their school might call me, but those are the only alerts that I allowed in the new focus feature to interrupt my day. So if I receive a phone call from the school of my children, my personal phone is going to ring, and that is a call that I definitely need to step out and take. If my wife calls me, if my children call me, it's not because they just want to chat. They know that I have a profession, I have something to do just like them. So it's important that if they're calling me, it's because there's an emergency and it's important for me to take it. The rest of the alerts can just wait. Wait until I have the moment to see. And it's so nice because then you can scroll and you see alerts that arrive while you were in focus. So how amazing is that? Your phone can be your assistant for you to increase the quality of your life. So does having a productivity system with your phone, maybe you have only one, maybe you have to use two, or maybe more, can that improve the quality of your mental health? Absolutely. Let me tell you that it's like you're giving a massage to your life. You're giving an opportunity to relax, to have ample rest. So the next day, the next work day, that you can have all your senses, you can be present, you can be patient, because in this era of the pandemic, post pandemic, middle of the pandemic, we need a lot of patience in order to have peace and calm. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's a beautiful weekend. I hope that you have a fantastic one. Peace and calm.
Thank you for listening to Wisdom and Productivity, the podcast of Dr. Efrain Martinez.
Chulu.
And I love that production. Chill out.